Guess who's back, bitches?
Come on, my son, get in there. England have just beaten Tunisia 2-1 in the World Cup. How's it going, everybody? Just joined by my brother Tom. He's over from America at the moment, so good to have him back. We've been drinking Stella Artois throughout the game, so apologies for any bad language in this.
Fuck off.
And we might we might beat our missus up later also.
Come on, that, mate.
It would only be right, wouldn't it?
Got a reputation. I do not in any way condone that. He may. Right, yeah.
But anyway, come on, my son, get in there. What a shit game, though. Or tenacity, just a bit more bollocks from the team, and I didn't see that. What?
I disagree with everything you just said.
Well, you thought that was an absolutely rip-roaring England performance,
That's
did you?
one of the best England performances I've seen in a long while. Do you want me to explain well? Do you want to do more stuff? Because I'll go into depth.
Well, yeah, let's cover some different points.
Okay. I mean, so we'll go into it. We started off obviously very brightly. We looked tidy. We looked as a formation. Our depth was extremely good. I'm talking about how high our lines were and why they were high. Obviously, if you looked with Jordan Henderson in the central midfield and Dele Alli and Lingard off him, there are two attack-minded players, so it's very important that we keep a high line at times when they are ready to push on to limit the spaces in between the lines, okay? And we did that extremely well, and I think that's one of the reasons they picked Maguire in, because he can step forward a little bit more than Cahill. Not only that, we did move the ball around a little slow, but we moved the ball around at least, which is for England. That's one criticism I would say that I would agree with from you. We did move the ball around a little slow. However, given the game, I mean, really, they didn't have a shot on target the whole game, apart from a penalty.
We dominated them, really, but we managed to dominate them without ever doing that much.
No, I know. We're a very young team, and there was a lot of niggly tackles, a lot of adversity with the referee. I thought the referee was very poor.
Absolutely.
Obviously,
Gash ref.
If they
Sort
had
your
one
freaking life
penalty,
out, ref.
we had 2/5. I'm not even sure, but we definitely had 2 that I saw on TV that were penalties.
That's very true.
I've just heard a comment from Max. We need to get better against other teams. Well, of course, but again, against other teams, it's just a different game. Tunisia are going to sit back. Panama are going to sit back. Belgium won't. But that comes into different tactics and different abilities. But we could have pressed a little bit more, but we pressed high as a team. We eliminated the back three into the channels because of that. And also we eliminated them gaps. And we have to do that with Henderson there. Or we have to get back quickly as a unit. And I think Southgate's got them where we're doing one or the other, which is actually very interesting. And when we're on the ball, we're moving. So it's almost like he's got that Barcelona 5-second rule. And I'm sorry, the 5-second rule that Barca used to do, where essentially they lose the ball 5 seconds, they can press it, and then they back off. So I really do think that they did very well. A couple of things I would say. I think Rashford's just a better player than Sterling, quite frankly.
Sterling was garbage, mate.
Yeah,
like, what are you even doing, Sterling? Seriously, why are you trying to take 3 men on? Okay, you're a decent dribbler and you've got some pace, but that's about it. Your finishing is absolutely dog turd shite. Your final ball is dog turd shite.
I mean, I'm a Manchester
Rashford
United
should
fan,
be starting.
So I'm going to say this. I think Rashford's just the better player and a better player on that stage than Sterling. I think Sterling's a very good player, very effective for City, where KD and Sterling has their own product. He doesn't necessarily need to for City because you've got all these players around him.
That's true.
He's a great contributor. He's full of pace. But Rashford on that stage, Rashford's a superstar, actually, and Sterling's not. Rashford will be a superstar in my opinion.
Yeah.
And having him in there really does make a difference, or it looked like it made a difference. But I can see why he's playing Sterling again, just for that balance, if you will. Rashford's kind of a Harry Kane in a way. He's not. Do a lot more and a lot less. You know what I mean? But I think that he was worried about having this instead of this, if that makes sense. And Sterling fits that bill.
He's a much more intelligent player than Sterling as well. Sterling's like a headless chicken.
Right.
He's good dribbling. He can take it past the man, and he can get a half decent ball in sometimes. But most of the time, his end product is rubbish. His finishing's absolutely awful.
Mr. T, Ruben Loftus-Cheek should have come on at 65 minutes. I actually completely agree with that as well. And he won't start a game in this World Cup, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Ali and Lingard have really cemented their places, I think, now. Especially Lingard, who a lot of people at one time had a problem with, and he's been fantastic. However, Ruben Loftus-Cheek is really one for the future. I'm really excited to see him
He looked good when he came on, definitely.
He's an extremely good player. He's had a really good year from what I've seen. I've got limited coverage in America. fucking delighted, really. And here's the reason I disagree with you wholly is because of the adversity, because of the young, and that game is so big now because really now, for all intents and purposes, we should definitely qualify. Whereas that could have turned into a gunslinger fight with Tunisia of who beats Panama by the most, and then nervy against Belgium. So we could have had a nightmare there. We could have had Iceland like from here.
Yeah.
But now I think this World Cup's going to be a success now and fun. And I think the team's created that. And I really do think that England right now have a lot of balance we've not had in, well, literally 22 years. In 1996, I think that team was balanced. Well, you could argue 98. I don't think we've had a balanced team since then. And by balance, I mean playing a good team, not playing 11 players who are the best players and fitting them. It's the old square pegs, round holes, or whatever that saying is, right? So, delighted with England tonight. To be honest with you, couldn't disagree with you more.
Fair play. I couldn't disagree with you more, actually, personally, because my own analysis of England was that they were just basically playing out the Louis van Gaal rule book in the second half. So slow, so sidey. Jordan Henderson bores me to tears, never plays a forward pass. Most negative footballer going. I like his tenacity. I like the way that he plays the game in terms of how he sort of drives and leads a team and that sort of thing. And he plays with heart. But other than that, I just don't think he's very technically gifted. I know he's there to be that sort of more defensive-minded midfielder. But every time he got the ball, he's slowing it down. The team looked so slow in terms of just moving the ball around. The tempo of the passing was not up to scratch, not where it needs to be. Certainly not where it needs to be when we're coming up against a team like Tunisia, who, let's face it, we beat them in every single position on the pitch. They're not a quality team. Yes, they get men behind the ball and they defend, but we're going to have to come up against teams like that. We're going to have to come up against teams with better players than that are going to play with those tactics and try to hit us on the counter and things like that. People will be very wary of playing open and attacking football against England simply because of our threat on the counter-attack, the fact that we've got those players at the back there in numbers playing the five at the back there, and we can move the ball forward quickly with the likes of Sterling, Rashford, Kane as a focal point. So I think teams are going to be wary of us, and much better teams than Tunisia are going to approach the game in a similar way as Tunisia did today. So we've got to work better at passing the ball around quicker, being a bit more dangerous in the final third with those through balls. I think Sterling, in my opinion, shouldn't be anywhere near the starting 11 in the next game. Rashford, in my opinion, should get the nod. I know he didn't set the world alight when he came on, but he looked ultimately better than Sterling did in his cameo performance than Sterling did throughout most of the game. So for me, I agree with you. Rashford's a better player than Sterling. I think selection not bad from Gareth Southgate. There's a couple of questionable points, but generally it was as to be expected. And overly, I'm just totally underwhelmed. I think, it's fantastic Kane popped up at the end now with that header. So happy for Harry Kane, because if England are going to have a good World Cup, we need Harry Kane to have a good World Cup. And that's just started. It's got him going now. 2 goals in the first game against Tunisia. Maybe could get himself another brace or a hat-trick against Panama. So he could really get going this World Cup. And we're going to need it because he's our best player, really. He's our most effective player, the player that's doing it at the highest standard at club level week in, week out. Harry Kane. He's probably our only really sort of world-class player that you could say. He's 25 goal a man every single season.
Kane is world-class. Damo, Dongo, not one world-class player. Kane is.
Kane's world-class.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, but he is.
But he's pretty much our only world-class player. Yeah.
And you can debate whether he'd get in the world team. As an out-and-out striker, there's no one better in the world right now. Damo, Dongo, worst England team of all time again. I'm not going to give you any coverage of that after that. So I've got 2 points here. Number one, I've got 1 point. And it's really interesting. I think I might have picked up on it. And I might be wrong, but because I was in and out a little bit, but I saw the team with the kind of the back 5, if you will, and the 3 and the 2 being so attacking. What I think they're doing is, very interestingly, when they do not press and come off, the players that are pressing, I know that's kind of counter thing, but Kane and whatever, they seem to be showing their players inside a lot in their half. Okay, it's because obviously we don't want to show their players outside when we've got 2 players that can be isolated, right? So I see the pressing is going inside, so their body angle, which is actually huge because we're playing then into a funnel of our 3-man midfield when we've got them, right? But what's very smart about that is when we're pressing high, we're showing them outside. Does that make sense? Like at first when we're pressing, if our players haven't recovered, we're showing outside. If our players have recovered, we're showing inside.
I think I know what you mean, yeah.
And then in our own half, we're always showing them outside because obviously we've got players back and we've got players that can help, and we've got basically 5 of them. So the pressing, actually, Gareth Southgate must be having that, and maybe that's what I'm saying. That's what I think he should be doing anyway. So essentially, imagine we lose the ball. If we press high immediately, okay, we are showing them outside because Ali Lingard might be off, and we've got that Henderson always there. But if we are dropping off, we are then showing them inside. So because we're dropping off, we've got more men in the field than the two that can be isolated. In our half,
this is the longest point ever.
But when we're sat back and we've got that bank of 5, bank of 3, we are showing them outside. And one thing that's good is Trippier and Young Young is very good at. Someone just slated him. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? He did really good tonight.
Good, Ashley Young's good,
and he's very good at
England's player of the tournament for me.
Kind of like
you heard it here first.
Kind of like Gary Neville used to be really good at one-on-ones. He was really good at one-on-ones too. Nick June, great video, thanks. The ref was bull. Yeah. Total piss poor.
Can we just talk about the referee for a second, actually, Tom? Because I thought that was one of the worst referees I've seen, referee an international game of that standard for a very long time, because he just didn't impose himself on the game whatsoever. And that's summed up by one moment in the game where we've got a free kick. I think Eric Dyer's trying to take the free kick, and Tunisia have got a player, and he's right, obviously 10 yards. He's nowhere near 10 yards. He's about 4 or 5 yards away, and then he jumps in at the end when the free kick's made. The free kick delivery was absolutely fine. But what I'm saying is the referee just let this happen. I think it was Trippier actually taking the free kick, and Trippier's looking over at the ref like, are you going to do anything here, mate? Because you just... It was complete garbage.
Tunisia dirty all the game. They were dirty, but kind of an effective way. And to be honest with you, I've got to hand a lot of credit to Tunisia as well, which is why I'm even more impressed with England's display. Because Tunisia were dirty. They were mucking around.
Dirty, cheating bastards,
horrible,
weren't they?
But that makes it hard. I mean, look at Atletico Madrid and the way, but their lines were very, very cleverly done. The way they pressed was very cleverly done. And they countered actually very well, and it shows how good England were, because they never even got a chance, even though Tunisia were tactically very good. So
they passed it around nicely at times, Tunisia. They had some good technical players.
Was really good as well, because they didn't just sit back. They managed to get us up, and because they knew Harry Kane wouldn't get over, and they weren't that scared of Sterling, right? When Rashford came on, you saw that, and that's why it can change games like that, and that's what we don't always think about. That made them sit back more when Rashford came on, because they were scared of Rashford a little bit. They were not scared of Sterling. They knew they could just knock him off a little bit. You're not going to knock Marcus Rashford off. So
no, I agree. Yeah.
Someone earlier put Sterling. This is his brother.
Do you mind if I take over the comments, mate?
Hold on,
you're just breaking up the flow of this video a little bit, mate.
Oh, yeah, you can take over the comments.
Okay,
I'm
great.
Sorry. I
just want to Johnny Blower comments and says, "Pig mate, we bloody won it in the end." Totally agree, absolutely over the moon about that. That's the start we needed, because as Tom was saying earlier, if we didn't get that result, the next game against Panama is tricky. Tunisia, maybe they could outscore us against when they play Panama. All of a sudden, it's a real bad game against Belgium to see if we actually get through. So now that's taken it away from it. We should batter Panama, shouldn't we? And that's it, us through to the next round, out the group stages. That's what we need. So yeah, we got there in the end. But I would have liked to have seen a bit more in terms of attacking prowess, a bit more in terms of possession. What are you doing, mate? You can't whisper. We're live on fucking video, mate. You have to just wait. If you've got something that pressing to say it now, live to all these people to hear, or just save it for yourself. All right, what do you need a shit or something? He just goes over to whisper to me. Sorry, mate, I need a shit. We're gonna have to wrap this up.
No, yeah, still good. I've got nothing to say.
But yeah, Alex Rudd comments and says, "This is your brother." Yes, he is. If you've not seen any videos previously, he has been in a couple. But yeah, this is my brother. He lives over in America. He's a big Manchester United fan, and of course, we're balls deep in the World Cup at the moment because he's over for the World Cup. Been watching all the games, and I think England's not got another game until when? Saturday now or Sunday? Sunday, yeah.
Panama Sunday, and then Belgium is when I'm back in the States, and then I'll be arranging my time off work around that, basically around the World Cup.
Oh no, we messed there, but we're fine. We're back.
So I'm really excited for this World Cup. I think England will make the quarterfinals, and I think if they do, that'd be a massive success. Excuse me. I think they could go further.
Yeah, well,
I'm not even joking.
I think quarterfinals should be our realistic aim. We don't have the players. We don't even have the recent history or form of doing well in major tournaments. So as long as we got there, I think Gareth Southgate would probably take quite a lot of credit and plaudits for that. I think the approach that Gareth Southgate's got with the England team is good. It's much better than Roy Hodgson's crap. You know, he's got exciting young players down there.
Oh, you've had
He's got exciting young players out on the pitch there. It's a very young team. I think that takes a lot of the pressure off the lads in a lot of ways. I think we are going to have to wrap this up. Is that what you were going to say?
No, I was going to say,
okay.
one thing I would say, I think Southgate's included the press, they were saying earlier, in the team build-up instead of making it players against the press and applying pressure. So it's almost like the press are behind the team, which is crazy because they've never been behind the team. All they want to do is sell tabloids and criticize, but I think they've realised the press can sell as many tabloids by getting Dele Alli to do the floss. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On social media, especially. So it's almost like a new time for England.
They still had to go about Sterling, though, didn't they? And that tattoo.
Yeah, but then people 10 years ago they would have just had a go. Now it was like, oh, why are you having a go? You know, you're ridiculous. So the press are being careful now, and it's almost like the press. He's got the press on side, which is really clever, and. Everyone likes him, and I think tactically he's underrated a lot. I think people are just saying, "Oh, I think he's very clever. I think he was a great footballer. I think he can read the game." I'm very excited for England over the next 10 years, with all the youth success we're having, which counts for a lot. With the great coaching that's going on, I'm a qualified coach, soccer coach, and I know the courses these people do, and it is in pretty good stuff, and we have a lot of them now in England, which we never used to. And the kids now are getting coached, but we've also got the advantage over other countries where, you know, you look at Brazil, you look at a lot of these countries, and they've either got USA have a lot of coaches and no one playing in the street. Okay, Brazil has no coaches, everyone's playing in the street. We kind of have both in this country now. It's going to be very exciting.
Yeah. No, well, that's where we've been lacking.
And I was delighted tonight, so fuck you, pig.
Well, I think you need to calm down, mate. You know, because really that was a tepid performance from England.
Henry's gone.
We were lucky to
get
Henry. We were lucky to get that. We were lucky to get that result. Alex Rudd says, "Is Henry gone?" No, Henry's not gone yet.
Henry.
He's going in about 10 days or something. But anyway, we're going to wrap this video up here. But thank you so much for tuning in.
You're welcome for looking at this instead of Henry. You're welcome.
The Stella's definitely got to his head, hasn't it?
Second one. Oh, third. Yeah, third one. Yeah. Boom.
What a lightweight. Anyway, thanks for getting involved. Do us a favour, actually chuck a like on this video. Sorry I've not been around for the last few days. Like I said, my brother's been over from America. I've been doing family stuff and, you know, just haven't been able to do many videos recently. But I will try and pick it up, especially covering England games and stuff like that. I want to do some live streams very, very soon.
I'll be back on at least once. This is gone now.
Tom will be back on at least once. We'll probably try and do a proper full-length podcast at some point as well. And get Henry involved.
Being, or do you not want to do that?
No, we'll just unleash the beast when the time is right.
Okay. More Stella, Philip, Lomax. It's Monday night, mate. Let's calm down.
Right, anyway, thanks very much for getting involved. Have yourselves a good one. Take it easy. You can follow me on social media at Mr. Flying Pig HD. And yeah, have yourselves a good one. Come on, England. Harry Kane has done it again. Super Kane. Super. Okay, I'll stop that now. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Come on, England. At least we fucking won, eh? At least we won in the end.